Good morning, students. Today we will study the fourth chapter of history, that is the Mughal Empire. Children, this chapter is long as compared to your previous chapter, but you will find this chapter to be interesting and very familiar, as we have heard many stories of Mughal Empire and have seen various monuments also. Most of the names which we will use in this chapter will sound familiar to you. In the last chapter of Delhi Sultanate, we had studied about the various dynasties under the Delhi Sultanate. We have seen how each dynasty succeeded the other. The slave dynasty was succeeded by the Khaljis were succeeded by the Tughlaqs, then Tughlaqs by Saids, and Saids by Lodhis. Even each ruler of each dynasty was succeeded by the other. In the same way, the Delhi Sultanate is succeeded by the Mughal Empire. India during 16th century CE represent a picture of political disunity. During this time, the Delhi Sultanate had shrunk in size and power, and several regions of Delhi Sultanate broke free from its control. At that time, the governor of Punjab named Daulat Khan Lodi declared his independence from the Delhi Sultanate. After him, the governors of Bengal, Sindh, Multan, and Jaunpur did the same. In Deccan and South, powerful regional kingdoms like Bahmani Kingdom and Vijayanagar Empire ruled. Mughal is the Persian word used for Mongol. The Mughals were the last powerful descendants of the Mongols. Under the inspired leadership of Babur, they took advantage of the absence of a strong central power to invade India and establish Mughal rule in Delhi. The Mughal Empire in India lasted from the 16th century to mid 19th century, that is, they lasted for around 250 years. In the course of these 250 years, the Mughals expanded the empire to cover almost the whole of Indian subcontinent and left a permanent mark on the society, culture, art, and architecture of India. Now, let us learn about the different rulers of the Mughal Empire. Let us study about the early Mughals and Sher Shah Suri. First one is Babur. We have heard the name of Babur many times now. In the last chapter also we had seen that it was Babur who killed and defeated Ibrahim Lodi. Ibrahim Lodi was the last ruler of Delhi Sultanate. He defeated Ibrahim Lodi in the first battle of Panipat in 1526 CE. This marked to the beginning of Mughal Empire. So now let us gain some more information about the Babur. The full name of Babur was Zahiruddin Muhammad Babur. He was a descendant of Timur and Genghis Khan. By the age of 21, he conquered Kabul. He then began to look towards India as he had heard many stories about the wealth of India. He made 4 attacks to explore into India, but none of those proved successful. At that time, Babur was invited by the king of Mewar named Maharana Sangram. He was popularly known by the name Rana Sanga. Babur was also invited by Daulat Khan Lodi, the governor of Punjab. He invited him to engage and defeat Ibrahim Lodi. Ibrahim Lodi was the last ruler of Delhi Sultanate. On this, Babur agreed and he killed Ibrahim Lodi. The first battle of Panipat. Babur was a military genius. He was a skillful person. He combined his artillery with his cavalry to win the battles. Artillery is a large caliber guns. These are used in warfare on land, and cavalry are the soldiers who fought on horseback. The Indian soldiers, on the other hand, were familiar with big guns, but they had no idea of the light field artillery and muskets used by Babur. Artillery, as I already told, is a large caliber gun, and muskets, on the other hand, is a light gun with a long barrel. This gun is fired from the shoulder. About the Battle of Kanua. Rana Sanga and Daulat Khan Lodi expected that Babur would return back to Kabul after defeating the Delhi Sultan Ibrahim Lodi. But Babur decided to stay in India. On this decision of Babur, Rana Sanga got furious and formed a union of Rajput prince. Rana Sanga, along with the union of Rajput prince, arranged a battle against Babur. Babur and Rana Sanga met each other at the Battle of Kanwa near Fatehpur Sikri. Though Rana Sanga Though Rana Sanga had a much larger force, but Babur defeated them with his use of artillery and superior military tactics. These two victories put Babur firmly on the throne of Delhi. After defeating the Rajputs, Babur turned east and defeated the Afghans on the bank of river Gagra. Babur then controlled an empire which stretched from Kabul to present-day Bihar. He made Delhi as the capital of his empire, but Babur's rule just lasted for 3 years and he died in 1530 CE. We gathered information about the rule of Babur and the kind of man he was from his autobiography in Turkey. The name of his autobiography was Baburnama. Babur was a scholar. He was a shrewd observer. Shrewd means sharp. He was also a poet with sensitive understanding of the fine arts. He looked upon Hindus as non-believers, but he never persecuted them. Persecute means ill-treat or oppress them. Then Humayun. Humayun was Babur's son. He ascended the throne of Delhi in 1530 CE. Babur left an empire to his son Humayun, which was left to be consolidated. Humayun tried to enlarge his empire by annexing present-day Gujarat, parts of Rajasthan and Bihar. But though he was an able commander, he did not possess the sustained spirit and energy of his father Babur. That added that he has to face strong opposition from his own brothers, the Afghan nobles and Bahadur Shah of Gujarat. Sher Khan defeated Humayun in the Battle of Chausa. Sher Khan was the Afghan governor of present-day Bihar. He declared his independence from Humayun. Sher Khan dealt Humayun a final blow in the Battle of Kannauj. Humayun fled to Sindh and then to Persia, where he remained in exile for 15 years. Exile means to banish from one's native country. His son Akbar was born during the exile. In 1555 CE, Humayun made a second attempt to regain Delhi. He captured Lahore and occupied Delhi and Agra. However, his triumph was short-lived. Humayun died the following year. Let us now study about the short rule of Sher Shah Suri. The real name of Sher Shah Suri was Farid Khan. He assumed the title of Sher Shah Suri. He established his capital in Delhi. In short rule of 5 years, he proved himself to be a capable leader. Sher Shah was an excellent administrator who introduced many reforms. Reforms means changes. He brought crime under control. He built the Grand Trunk Road or Sadak-e-Zam. Sher Shah introduced the silver rupee. It was known as rupiah, and it was accepted as a standard mode of exchange. Gold coins were called mohar and copper coins were called dam. They were also minted by the government of Sher Shah. Sher Shah reforms in coinage was later adopted by Akbar and the term rupiah came into common use. Sher Shah died while fighting the Chandels in Kalinjar. At that time he was 75 years old. With the death of Sher Shah ended the reign of one of the best rulers of the throne of Delhi. India enjoyed peace and stability during the reign of Sher Shah Suri, but unfortunately his successors did not have the capabilities of Sher Shah Suri. So Humayun took advantage of this weakness and invaded into India. He captured Lahore, Agra and Delhi. Humayun did not rule for long after his return to power. He died in 1556 CE and was succeeded by his son Akbar. So, in this video we will keep this much. In our next video we will study about Akbar's and other rulers, other successors of Mughal Empire.